The third iteration of Nike's trash basketball shoe is back, and I don't mean that they are trash, just that they were made out of recycled materials, so technically.
Trash.
Yo, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we have a detailed look and breakdown at the Nike Cosmic Unity 3, and this one is an interesting one, that's for damn sure. Definitely better than the last one. Now, in case you were wondering about the box, it is their Move to Zero box, so there you go. No paper in this one, which I thought was cool, only because it actually fits the Move to Zero movement. There's also no foam in this one, so I don't know why they did that, and then they ruined my runners, my Pegasus. But these guys right here are really kind of interesting. They remind me a lot of the Ja Morant shoe from a toe down view. They're like really wide and puffy looking. It almost looks like they were built off of the same last. Now these guys right here, they come with the Move to Zero tag. They say that they're made with at least 20% recycled content. I believe this is something that they started with the original Cosmic Unity and they have just kind of kept it going. Are they going to keep going with this in the future? I'm not sure. I don't know if there's going to be a Cosmic Unity 4, 5, 6, etc. But either way, the outsole right here is really interesting because it's very flat. So it's not peaked or whatever, like what you would normally see typical rubber as far as basketball is concerned or court surfaces are concerned, where it looks aggressive, it looks sharp. It's supposed to be kind of like a wiper blade on the court. This guy right here is just flat and smooth, even though it's a great looking pattern. So we've got this radial style pattern. You can see that it's multi-directional coverage by nature, which is really cool. Now, because everything is flat, I don't know how it's going to play indoors. I will say that the rubber feels really good. I just don't know if it feels indoor good, especially when you got dust present. However, on the insole or midsole, there's a drop-in in these guys. It's really weird. They switched up the cushioning system, but on the liner, it says bring it outside, which leads me to believe that they intend these to be an outdoor shoe, which would really make sense with the way that the rubber is, the way that it feels. These feel bottom heavy. So like I was saying in previous videos, one of the key aspects to remove weight from a sneaker from any company is to remove rubber. Rubber is the bottom heavy aspect of the sneaker itself, and this one has a lot of it. So it definitely feels a little bit heavier. It feels more rugged, outdoor friendly. Is it outdoor specific? I don't know. None of the other two were. You can use either of those ones outdoors or indoors. You know, I wonder actually if maybe the pandemic made it happen. I remember using them primarily outside and thinking, wow, these are actually quite durable. The second one Jackson reviewed, didn't love personally, or he didn't love personally. I didn't ever try them. They felt cheap to me, so I never had any interest in them. This one will have Alan test, but I just think it is interesting. Like each one's a little bit different. This feels more of a continuation onto the first, whereas the second one feels more like a blip. Now the midsole is a carrier foam, so it's basic EVA and everything like that, but one of the weird things is that when you take out the midsole, you still can't really like fold it up too much. So I know that that was a big concern or a big issue with Jackson. With the second one, it would fold up on them, like with certain movements. This one right here has a TPU kind of like chassis, and it feels like it runs all the way through like the forefoot, because very little flex, which is very rare for a drop-in midsole shoe. As soon as you take that midsole out, the shoe becomes ultra flexible and lightweight, except for in the portions where there is a plate. And so that's why I'm saying like it's probably almost a full length plate. Not quite full length, but it feels like it's damn near full length. It's a very nice rigid feel. It doesn't feel cumbersome or anything like that on foot. So I don't think it's going to restrict movement or mobility too much. But again, it just makes it so it's a little bit stronger of a shoe compared to the last model.
Excellent.
Now the cushioning is this drop-in. It has similar shapes to like an old Kobe unit and everything like that, but it's not the same thing. This is actually very minimal as far as like a heel to toe drop, which is very interesting. I actually really like this. What is it made out of? That's my big question. There's no markings on here of any tech. There's no labeling of Zoom, of React, of Lunar, or anything like that anywhere on the shoe, which is really weird. And when I look under the product description on Dick's Sporting Goods, it just says foam midsole. That's it. So it's some kind of foam. What kind of foam is it? I mean, if I were to guess, I would say it's either EVA or just a polyurethane, but it doesn't feel quite as dense as a polyurethane. So my guess would be EVA, or in Nike's terms, Phylon. But again, that's just a guess, that's not confirmation or anything. So once maybe Nike puts the shoe out instead of Dick's, then maybe there will be a little bit more information, but the brands or the retailers get their information from the brands. So I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. As far as how it feels on foot, like I said, the shoe's kind of bottom heavy, so you do feel that. And then the cushion feels very minimal. It just kind of feels kind of neutral. For an outdoor shoe, I was a little surprised. I thought that they would have had some zoom or something like that, but they didn't. That was, I think, the one downside, at least to the one that I did play in the original Cosmic Unity, where I believe believe those had a full-length zoom strobel, but they were damn near on the floor. Like they were so thin because it was tons of court feel, which was great for players that played indoors, maybe not so great for players that played outdoors. This one, I just don't know how this is going to stack up for a primarily outdoor type of shoe. Now the upper is really interesting because that's the part that kind of looks like trash, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean like it literally looks like it's just a bunch of leftover materials thrown all over the shoe. It's kind of like all over the place, if you know what I'm saying. So it's very interesting. It is a knit, so I believe they're calling it fly knit, but they only specifically stated fly knit in the collar. This is the area where it's kind of stretchy. Got this like overlapping look to it. I kind of like it. The rest of the upper feels like it's a mixture between leftover fly wire, which is all this like weird, like thick rope looking stuff, and then just a ton of threads. I would just safely say the upper is fly knit, but like loosely, you know what I mean? So it's, again, patchwork.
It looks like the Air Max 97.
It does. They remind me of an Air Max model, which would be that, but like multiple, and then the jaw ones with that, you know, and this ugly toe thingy. It's not a bad looking shoe or anything, it's just kind of weird. They're very substantial feeling. That's something that I think is very interesting because most of these newer models are very lightweight, they're very minimal feeling. This one doesn't feel like that. Like it feels like a hefty, like if this came out in the 90s, I'd believe it. That's how it feels.
But yeah, I believe that's supposed to be moss climbing up the side of the shoe because there's seaweed on the drop-in.
Seaweed?
Yeah, that's seaweed.
Oh, I guess it is. It's all black and blotchy looking, so I didn't know what the hell it was.
I think it's supposed to be like, hey, we're cleaning up the ocean and recycling.
Yeah, it doesn't say where specifically the recycled stuff is from. That's something that Adidas will do though. Maybe that's why they didn't. Maybe they're just implying it with graphics. I cannot unsee the Air Max 97 now that you said that.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
it's
it's all I see. I'm just like, they just turned that shoe into a basketball shoe.
It's just because it's all muted. I think that's why you didn't see it before.
It's so much extra material. It's like, hey guys, clean up the factory floor and make something out of it. That's what it looks like. So it's like they swept everything into a pile and glued it onto the shoe. I do think that they're better looking now that I keep seeing the Air Max 97. It's just this awkward looking toe. Like that toe down view on these and the jaw ones are not it.
I have spoken.
The lacing system is internal, which I love. I love that extra close fit. And then probably my favorite aspect of the shoe itself is actually the internal padding section. The collar area or the heel is very nicely padded, very nicely sculpted. All of the material in here feels awesome. It also feels like it would be memory style foam, so it should give you a customized kind of fit in the rear once you start to break them in. And then my other favorite aspect is actually the tongue, which is something that most people don't even think about, and it's not gusseted or anything like that, so it's like an independent tongue stitched at the base like a traditional tongue would be, but the tongue itself is neoprene, which we don't see very often anymore, and I love that. Like this is from the Huarache days, the Jordan 7 and the Jordan 8s and stuff like that, the Huarache B-balls. So yeah, I just love the way that this feels. Like it feels very nice on foot. It also alleviates a lot of lace pressure without adding a ton of weight and material. So I just absolutely love the way that they felt on foot, minus the cushion. The cushion didn't feel like anything really. It felt kind of lackluster, but the overall feeling around your foot felt really good. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size. Whatever you typically wear, that's exactly what I would order. If you happen to wear a brace, I probably would wait to see them in store, bring your brace with you, and then try them on with your brace on, because this extra padding in the back right there is substantial. So like, don't discount that. Like that is a thing. It could move your foot up just enough to where you may want to go up a full size if you happen to wear a brace. Also, anybody that uses orthotics, it's probably not compatible with drop-ins. It typically isn't. So just a heads up as well. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about these, the Cosmic Unity 3s, down below in the comment section. How do these stack up visually with the other two? I still think the first one's probably the best looking one. This one I'd probably put it as second. But as far as performance goes, I think that this might be a great option for a lot of guys and girls that play outside. So if you're looking for an outdoor hoop shoe, this could be it. And again, thank you so much for everything. We will catch you on the next one. So until then, have a good one.